Within the next couple of minutes, I will provide basic information on the Soma System Spiky Life mat and how to use that. So first of all, you should have the spiky mat as well as the layers of cheesecloth, and I will later describe what you would need the cheesecloth for. The first thing you need to know about the Spiky Life mat is, of course, that it is spiky, and that's why it's called Spiky Life. So please do apply a little bit of pressure with your hand on top of the spiky mat, and you would feel that it provides a pretty intense stimulation. You may think that if you were to lie down on it, it will be very intense. However, it's not really true, because you will be distributing your weight over I think 5,000 or 6,000 tiny pins. So it's not really that intense. Now, if you ever lie down and you want to modulate the intensity, which we highly recommend to do because the experience should be comfortable and pleasant, that's why we provide 2 layers of cheesecloth. So, for example, if you put the cheesecloth on top of the mat and apply your hand, then you should feel that the intensity decreases fairly substantially. Now, what would you use the mat for? So first and foremost, the way we use it in Soma System, and the mat traditionally, it's actually not our invention by any means. The mat was created by a gentleman in former Soviet Union in early 80s to actually treat pain. And the gentleman's name was Kuznetsov. So he created this device as a mechanical painkiller, and there are a number of reports, evidential reports of people claiming that this is very useful to relieve muscular pain, and we observe very similar thing with many of our clients. So people report dramatic improvements in their lower back pain, upper back pain, neck pain. Of course, if you ever use it to work with your pain, you have to make sure that first you see a physician and physical therapist to make sure that there is no substantial pathology before you try to do any type of self-care. So this is one application, traditional application, as simply a mechanical painkiller. Now, this is not really what we use this tool for. We use it primarily for 2 purposes. One is to improve blood flow before going and working with other self-body work tools. So before you can access deeper layers of soft tissues, it's very useful to warm them up. And when you lie down on this mat and then get up, you will observe that your skin acquired much redder color, there is improved blood flow, and you feel more relaxed. So this is the first application that we use Spiky Mat in Soma System. The second application is actually to improve your connection to the body. So the reason, what actually I mean by connecting to the body is an ability and a skill of observing bodily sensations and experiences. Part of the problem in our modern society that because we are so much externally oriented, meaning that we're working with computers a lot, we work with technology a lot, and oftentimes we have to intentionally suppress our bodily sensations. So for example, if you recall the last time when you had a shoulder ache, probably what you might have done is not to seek massage therapy or physical therapy, but just to ignore because you had to finish writing a report or writing an email, or you had other life obligations that you had to complete before taking care. And then once you were done with your tasks, you most likely even forgot that you actually had any kind of pain. So we live our lives by continuously suppressing bodily sensations, and this tool is extremely useful to actually awaken our bodies The reason it's important to awaken our body is because when we consistently suppress the bodily sensations, we gradually lose our ability to self-regulate. By self-regulating, I mean our intrinsic ability to detect that something is not quite right in our body. We might be tired, we might be having aches, and then taking care of that instead of ignoring. So guess what happens if you live your life for 5, 10, 15 years continuously ignoring the physical aching, the emotional aching in your body, in psyche? Your body gradually declines, your health declines, your enjoyment of life declines. And as a result, the other spheres of your life start falling apart. So therefore, restoring the body's ability to, our ability to sense our bodies, meaning bodily sensations, bodily experiences, and emotions, is hugely important. And because the mat has so many spikes, you essentially can cover a fairly big area of your body and work on observing sensations in your body while you're lying down on the mat. So this is the idea, these are the two primary reasons why we use this wonderful invention of Mr. Kuznetsov in Soma System Deep Tissue Cell Body Work. Now I will now talk about a couple of ways you can use the mat. So first, you can use it sitting down. So let's say that you are at work behind your computer, you can put the mat like this, and then if you rock your body from left to right, you get a little bit of stimulation. Of course, the fewer layers of clothing you have, the more stimulation you will get. If your chair is higher, you can even manage to work on your upper back or neck. In a similar way, you can fold the mat and you can work on your hamstrings, and you can work on your feet as well. And that's actually very pleasant and enjoyable for most people that I have met who have done that. So try doing that. Now, moving on, and actually I should mention that you may have a question, why we have a spiky mat and a spiky belt? Well, the spiky belt is just much smaller and it's much more convenient to carry around with you, and therefore if you go to work, then you can as well take the spiky mat, plus you can wrap the spiky mat under your clothing around your body parts, and that would provide more or less continuous stimulation. And the same thing applies, of course, to working on your feet. Okay? Now, moving on with exercises that you can do on the floor or yoga mat. So first of all, when you're at home, you would want to go on this mat bare skin. I'm, of course, obviously not going to be doing this, but when you work at home, I would ask you to actually go bare skin. And also, please don't share the mat with anybody, even your loved ones. This is your personal tool, because there is a fairly close contact between the skin and the tool. So this is definitely a personal device. You can share all other Soma System tools that are designed for actually deeper tissue cell body work, but not these two tools. So the spiky tools are personal tools and you should not share them with anybody. Now, when you lie down with bare skin, that's why we have a couple layers of cheesecloth, and you can put 1 or 2 layers of cheesecloth and see how you feel. Initially, it may seem when you lie down that you have a pretty intense experience, but then gradually body adapts to that. But when you're starting out, please don't push yourself or don't force yourself. You should have a pretty pleasant experience. Now imagine me lying down on this bare skin. So first of all, how I would lie down, don't lie like this, because if you have weak abdominal muscles, that may not be very comfortable. Also, people sometimes what they do, they try to lie down, they don't feel comfortable, and then they hit with their hand against the mat, and that's really spiky. And then they go, ouch. So, don't do this. What instead you're going to do is lie down next to the mat, and then roll on top of it. And that's much more comfortable. As you can see now, the mat covers my sacrum, part of my glutes and lower back, and some upper back. So now we're going to focus working on the lower back. I bent my knees in order to improve the contact surface between the lower back and the mat. Now you can use also cheesecloth or towel to actually put it under the lower back, so under the mat, and that would push the mat further into the lower back. Now you can stay here with your eyes closed and breathing and observing the sensations. Or you can very slowly start rocking your knees from side to side. Okay, very good. Now roll off the mat. And now I'm going to go a little bit lower, and I'm also going to use this foam roller as a support tool. Now, as you can see, I'm putting foam roller this way, and my neck is going to go on top of that, and this part is going to work on my shoulders. And of course, I may need the cheesecloth because the neck skin in the neck is usually more sensitive. So once again, I lie on the side, I roll on top of it. Now adjust the foam roller so that the foam roller is pushing the spikes not only into your neck but also into your shoulders. If the sensations in the neck are too strong, then by all means use the cheesecloth. That's why you have it. Now once again, close your eyes, breathe, and stay like this, making sure that you're comfortable. Or very slowly start turning your head from left to right. And the point of the movement here is not the movement itself, but using the movement in order to change the bodily sensations while continuously observing the sensations. Remembering that part of the reason we are doing this practice is actually to awaken our body and to improve the ability to self-regulate. Okay, very good. When you're done, and you can work on this 5-10 minutes, of course I'm doing it much faster. Now let's remove the foam roller. And you can also work on your side, so for example on shoulder rotators. So you would lie down on your side, place the foam roller or a pillow as a support. You can stay like this, breathing, or you can rock from side to side. So now let's roll off. You can also work on your chest. Of course, also I'm not feeling that much right now because I have several layers of clothing, but when you do this at home, you would want to do it bare skin. And you can also use a yoga block or, for example, a foam support in this way if you want to prop it up. So for example, for women, for big-chested women, you can do something of this type. Okay, and in a similar fashion, you can work on your quads. Again, going bare skin, potentially putting a couple of layers of cheesecloth to modulate the intensity. And you can again rock from side to side. Okay. Well, I hope that gives you an idea of how you can use the spiky mat for soma system practice. And we will be sending you more detailed instructions on more exercises and more self-palpation because you really do need to know your anatomy if you are initiating Soma system practice. Now just a brief overview of other tools. So this is a set of 5 Soma system balls. They are of different sizes, and as you can see, this is just like even sometimes smaller than a massage therapist's thumb. And you can use it in also while lying down, while sitting. It's excellent for trigger point work. That's what it was created for, or against the wall. We have a very soft and gentle massage ball. You can use it in a similar fashion behind the chair. It's excellent for hamstrings. It is much softer than other tools. For example, these balls are not compressible, so they're more like lacrosse balls. This is very, very soft. Or you can make it actually very soft. You can also make it hard by pumping more air into the ball. And this is our newest addition. These are rollers. So as you can see, these are adjustable. You can move the rollers, bring them closer together, further apart. These are really great for working on your neck, or you can work on your back. So these are much smaller than the foam rollers, and their surface has much higher specificity, meaning that it has a much greater capacity to isolate old spots of achiness in your body and release them. This is a focus roller. This is a tool. It has 3 active surfaces. So this guy is very pinpointed work. This is more for manual therapy, for trigger point type of work. These are the rollers, so you can work on yourself. And you can also take all this rubber and you will have a very nice and spiky stimulation in this way. And finally, once you put them on, you can use this surface more like a gua sha type of tool. So this is layperson gua sha. You're basically doing skin and underlying deeper tissues dragging with this tool, and it's very comfortable. It's our main massage therapists love this tool because it saves their fingers. We use foam roller in a very different way than in other modalities, so you can make some body work very comfortable. The traditional way to use the foam roller is something of this sort, but as you can see, you're not very comfortable here. You have to support your head. So what we can do instead, we put the foam roller to support your hips, and then you can do mini rolls, and this is much more comfortable. Alternatively, when people work with the foam roller on the lower body, this is a very traditional way to work on the hamstrings. Anatomically, it doesn't actually make much sense for 2 reasons, because you're straining your shoulder and the hamstrings are actually lengthened when you're working on them. So a much better way to do that is actually on the chair. You will shorten the hamstrings and soften them, and that would allow you to get in a little bit deeper and do more effective work. Similarly, instead of doing this type of foam rolling, which has the same problem, you can do this on the chair when your body is completely relaxed, and you can actually work out your calf muscles. And finally, within the next couple of minutes, I'll try to give you the basics of using the roller squat. This is probably the easiest Soma system tool. As you can see, there are other tools which are primarily body weight tools, meaning that you use your own body to provide deep tissue cell body work. The roller squat can be used in 2 primary ways. So when you use it as a hand tool, meaning that you can put it on your hand, you can use it on yourself. So for example, massaging your quads or chest, or of course you can always use it on your partner, remembering if you're not a licensed massage therapist, then
you should not be doing massage therapy, but otherwise you can bring a lot of joy to your friends massaging them. In terms of using the roller squat using your body weight, and by that I mean that you are not using the hand to apply pressure of the roller squat on top of your soft tissues, but you are actually using your body weight. So the easiest example would be putting the roller squat on the floor and working on your feet. And this is something that is very pleasant, and you don't necessarily have to roll all the time. You can just rest your feet on the roller squat or use 2 roller squats, and you can do that while you're working behind a computer. Similarly, you can use the roller squat to work out the tightness in your hamstrings, or you can place the roller squat, lie down next to it, and then roll on top of it, just making sure that the roller squat is not providing any pressure on the spinal column itself. And so that would be, for example, that would be an example of applying static pressure. Now, if you're breathing and lifting your hips and then letting them go back to the floor, then essentially you are using one of the manual therapy techniques called pumping. So you're literally pumping the blood in and out of the place, and that really helps to release the tissues and nourish them with blood. You can also gently move, so you can see I'm not rolling, I'm just moving my upper body over the roller squat, maybe 1-2 millimeters from side to side, and this is more similar to cross fiber, and you can do a lot of good work, again remembering that roller squat should not be applying any pressure on your spinal